In today's NBA, it's often thought that many superstars translate to championships. There's players like Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and many more that are franchise-altering talents. However, today we're going to be focusing on the guys who make their jobs possible, the ones who are irreplaceable but don't get enough credit. Today's video we'll be discussing Mike Conley, Bruce Brown, and Derrick White, and talking about how they're the NBA's most irreplaceable role players. There's obviously many more that I'm not going to be mentioned for the sake of length in this video. Please leave in the comments down below your favorite role players, and be sure to subscribe as we are uploading every single day for the month of December, and we are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Let's get started with one of my personal favorite players in the NBA, Mike Conley. One of the best qualities about Mike is that he will do whatever he's asked, wherever he's asked to do it. Need him to dish out 10 assists? Done. How about elite level defense even at his older age? Sure, why not? Need him to knock down 3 to 5 threes a night? Consider it done. Mike is the ultimate point guard in today's game, especially next to someone like Anthony Edwards, who is a scoring monster and has grown into a superstar and a ball-dominant superstar at that. Being effective with and without the ball is something that many guards lack in today's game, and some of them are just really struggling to grasp this concept. Being effective vocally both on and off the floor is another skill that they're struggling to grasp, yet Mike does all of these things extraordinarily well, and he's done them extraordinarily well with 3 different franchises. I remember when he got his big max contract with Memphis, I believe he was actually the highest paid player in the NBA, making something along the lines of $120 or $150 million for the term of his contract, and people freaked out wondering how and why he was the most paid player in the NBA, and we've come a long way since then. It's funny how much contracts have grown. People are getting inked up for $300 million. That's neither here nor there. In his time with the Timberwolves, Mike is averaging in just under 30 minutes a night, 11.5 points, 6.5 assists, 3 rebounds, and a steal, while almost shooting a very consistent 40% from three-point land. These are remarkable stats for someone who's not only 36 years old, but someone that you'd consider to be the 4th option, obviously behind Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Karl-Anthony Towns. Like I said, the 4th option on a 1 seed in the Western Conference. He has obviously played amazing in Memphis. He played even better in Utah as they won 55 plus games on, I think it was 3 different accounts. And now he's continuing his consistent play and consistent behavior in Minnesota, even though you guys got to remember he was only acquired at halfway through the season last year, and right when he came in everyone knew his business, and he made sure of that. He's even garnered praise from the team's best and most talented player in his own backcourt, Anthony Edwards, saying he's one of my favorite guys on the team. Another point guard who would probably be underrated for the remainder of his career is Derrick White. I'm sure you all remember the buzzer beater Derrick hit to extend the Celtics' life in the Eastern Conference Finals Game 6 last year. However, he is so much more than that. For Celtics fans, he's the perfect 5th option, something that most teams, the Cavaliers, could use a 5th option that does his job every single night. Anywho, this season Derrick White is averaging 14.5 points per game, 5 assists a night, 4 rebounds, a steal, and a block, shooting almost 40% from three-point land. Not only is Derrick immensely versatile, but he is one of the more efficient pieces to the puzzle in Boston, and he's getting better at his flaws every year. This year he's actually leading his career in free throw attempts a night, so he's driving to the rim and getting better. His ability to get out and running in transition and knock down open shot pairs perfectly alongside the ball dominant duo of the Jays, obviously Jason and Jalen. Not to mention, since the addition of Tingus Pingus, the floor opens up so much more offensively and defensively. Kristaps Porzingis has been remarkable for this team, and shout out Kristaps, I just watched you on the JJ pod last night. Absolutely amazing stuff you had to say. Very, very wise player, and I'm glad that you took less money to play in Boston and compete for a championship. Anyways, we're talking about Derrick White. Opposing teams fear the 3-headed defensive monster of Jrue Holiday, Derrick White, and Kristaps Porzingis. Jrue and Derrick are bad enough to deal with on any given night, but on the off chances that you beat these all-defensive players, you have a 7'3" unicorn and Al Horford, the Embiid stopper, ready to help at any given moment. Derrick White is also the perfect example of playing with your heart and not your height. He has so many blocks on plays that many players full of ego would deem dead, or they would just give up up on. He jumps with pretty much anyone in the NBA and isn't afraid to risk face for a play that would help the team. This is partially the reason that he was named to the all-defensive second team last season, and it's not like this effort and talent goes unrecognized. This season, following the home opener, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla had this to say about Derrick White and his effort. He has the humility to do what's best for the team. When his number is called, he shows up regardless of what happens. Rarely a mistake to be made with Derrick White, and for that reason, I would deem him irreplaceable and underrated. I really do hope he finishes out his career in a team or a situation like the Celtics, just a winning franchise, because someone like this should not be wasted. I'm glad the Celtics fans appreciate him. I'm glad that Joe Mazzulla appreciates him, and I'm glad the teammates appreciate him. And finally, we have Bruce Brown. Now, this is kind of a sore subject for me as someone who watched all of the Nuggets run and rooted for them all year last year. Bruce Brown is an immensely gifted player. It's just one of those things where the stats are never going to show the effect that he has on the game. And if you're curious what I'm saying or what I'm babbling out about, just do yourself a favor, and you don't even have to watch the live game. If you did, it would help you more, but just go back and watch the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, and then go watch the Miami Heat series. Bruce Brown is the definition of the microwave. He kind of reminds me of a more consistent and better defensively J.R. Smith on the Cleveland Cavaliers, if you will. He's just remarkably talented at running the floor, keeping the pace, throwing lobs, catching lobs, creating shots off his own dribble. This season with Indiana, he's averaging 13 points, a steal a game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 36% from the field. 36% from the three and 48% from the field. And he's averaging a career high in minutes as well. Next is Tyrese Haliburton. He looks absolutely gifted. There's nights where Bruce will go for 30 points, and then there's nights where Bruce will go for 10, 15 points. And that's the beauty of a role player who knows his role. While Bruce is no longer being paid like a role player, $20 million a year or $22 million a year is definitely more expensive than what role players are generally making. However, just like you pay more for your eggs and your bread and your milk and your gas when you go to the store, you pay more for quality role players, and that's something that I feel NBA fandom is struggling to grasp. I feel like it's just kind of more aware than ever right now that you can't get a guy on a vet minimum who's going to produce for you. I mean, the days of having those Ryan Andersons, the Trevor Arizas, the Gerald Greens, the Andre Iguodala on his last year, those days are so gone, guys. They're gone, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you want a quality role player who's going to show up and show out on your bench, it's going to cost you $11 to $25 million a year. And that might sound crazy, but the reality of it is the superstars are no longer making that, guys. Superstars are making $40, $50, $60 million a year. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. If you want to win, you got to pay. If you want to play, you got to pay. Bruce Brown, Derrick White, and Mike Conley, shout out to all three of you for making the NBA fun, for making your teams great, for being great people on and off the court. Seems like wherever you go, you guys will succeed, and I will be a fan no matter what. If you made it this far, I appreciate your guys' support as always. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, all blessed. Peace.